Hey everybody, welcome back to part 2 here on Anheuser-Busch Productions of the Blind Hog Spring Thaw here in beautiful Waynesville, North Carolina on the Waynesville Country Club golf course, ball golf course that is, and as always I am joined with my broadcasting partner Paul Rankin aka Paul Kevin. Go ahead and say hey to everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching.
And as you can see, scores after the front 9, Jake at -5, Dathan -3, myself -1, and Cisco at even. Don't disregard where the hole is currently. I had to film late on Sunday. It's actually short right there in front of the well house. And
okay, so it must not be a very long hole.
No, this is an extremely short hole. Jake nearly threw it into the pond short, but instead he is parked. Cisco a little wide. Here comes Dathan flicking that Firebird again. Gets it on a nice line just over top. He'll have a birdie.
It's a good looking ace line.
And I actually throw the G-Star Rhino, just inch it out way too far right.
Yeah, it looked a little bit of a safe play from you, but left you a long putt, which unfortunately you couldn't get.
Yeah, hit it right off the band. Cisco missed short. Jake's going to be putting for birdie.
Yeah, for Cisco it had to be stressful putting with that pond right behind the basket.
Yeah, it's a lot closer than it looks on the video right there. You've probably only got about 7-ish feet or so. So you just got to watch out for it.
Dathan and Jake look like they'll pick up a couple of nice birdies.
And I'll come tap in the par again. Leads us on to hole 11, our first real big hole of the tournament. You got a big looping, turning par 4 right here. You can see golf green, if you managed to get on that, is OB. Path in left is OB. And then this path that crosses over right here also plays as like a river. So you got to make sure not to be on that. Also, this basket is, once again, it was moved for day 2. It's actually underneath this tree that's right beside us now for day 1.
I see. So is the play a big backhand hyzer out a little
yes.
to the right?
Yeah, you kind of want to get over the green and around one of the guardian trees at front, or just throw it too far like Jake does and crank it into like the next fairway almost.
Man, you can really tell Jake's just itching for a chance to open up on some of these holes.
Oh, he'll get his opportunity. Dathan actually goes a little bit too far himself. Cisco throws a nice one out there. And I am backhanding a destroyer. Get it up, and as long as you get around that one tree, it's a great shot. You kind of miss it, but I threw it perfect, right in the middle.
Oh yeah, left you a nice easy approach right up to the basket.
Which I do. I put it about 15 feet away. Dathan has a beautiful, and I mean an absolutely beautiful backhand shot right there. Has to play a skip shot, gets it all the way to it. Cisco. Oh, I thought he was going to bang it. Actually nails the limb right above the basket.
And it looked like he was thinking about putting it in.
And Jake left himself in an awkward spot. He had to try to throw a flick skip shot and just couldn't quite get it up there.
Yeah, I see what you mean about how they threw a little too long and cut themselves off. Looked like Dathan managed to get around it, but
sadly, camera died right there, so we missed all the putts. Everyone made them except for me, so no worries. I missed that 15-footer. Brings us up to a par 3 right here, but it is very improperly marked. This thing should be a par 4 in my opinion. It's actually well to the right of where this was round 2 spot. Once again, I'm sorry. Apologies about that. Weather was absolutely terrible on Friday whenever I was trying to drone footage this, so I had to do it on Sunday whenever they moved around a lot of the baskets. Dathan's shot was going into the ground. He actually nailed the golf 150-yard marker, and it gave him about an extra 100 feet.
That's quite an interesting reaction from that sign. I'm sure he's thankful for it, though.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. Cisco puts a good one out there. Jake casually walks up to what, honestly, I feel like should be a par 4, and he leaves himself pretty good shape. That was hole 7 that you saw in the background of that right there. And I was really impressed with my distance I got right here. I didn't think I'd be able to get it over that bunker, and just launched it well over this bunker.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's out there with a pretty good chance for an up.
Cisco makes good. Dathan inches it a little bit inside. I have to go flick like through some trees, leave myself a testy 30-footer. That's probably inside my range, though, since I've been missing the 15-footers. 30 feet's probably good for me.
Looks like Jake's close enough to go with the jump putt.
Oh.
Ah, that's too bad.
Yeah, nails one of the first trees. He's left himself about 30 to 35 and just misses it right.
And that's always frustrating, being last to approach and first to putt, and then not get your birdie.
I'm making use of removing all dead limbs in my way. Step up to this 25-footer or so. Banger. I actually made one.
It was a nice solid putt.
Dathan.
Yeah, I see what you mean about this hole. It does look like it would be pretty tough to get there.
Yeah,
you got some distance throwers. Jake looked like he got a pretty full flight, and he was still jump putting at this one.
For sure. Now he's got himself a 4-putt right here. Puts it in. No problem. Technically a bogey. I feel like it should be a par. I feel like 2s and 3s should be rewarded a little bit more on this hole. And
yeah, I mean, Jake's going to probably be frustrated at himself for hitting that tree, but can't be too upset about it for.
Jake and Dathan -5, Cisco and myself at -1. And here is hole 13. Plays not too long. It says 360, but it probably plays to 330 or so. The golf green is OB if you're on it. If you manage to get all the way into the pond down there, it takes a big throw, but it could happen. That is OB as well, and it's actually sitting up on top of a little well right there, as you can tell.
So a little elevated basket just to make the putt a little trickier.
Here's Dathan coming up and puts a nice one out there. It looks like it almost skips in. And as you can tell in the video, it's actually raining a pretty decent amount by this point. Cisco skips off the green. He's safe. I step up with a nice eagle. I almost caught a limb on one of the first trees. Luckily it missed, and it actually turns out to be a very, very nice shot. And Jake steps up. This is an MD2. I want you to keep that in mind. He is throwing a mid-range right here. This kid crushes it into the pond. He is OB. Into the pond.
Wow.
Yeah. And steps up, gets an unfortunate roll away too after almost making it. There's
That's
Cisco.
tough for him.
Long 2-putt for him. He hits cage. Here's Jake now for a 4 from range. He's probably about 30, 35 feet away after that roll away.
Yeah, a long uphill putt with the basket also elevated. Just got to make sure he gets it there. Ooh, what a putt.
No problem for Jake. Yeah. Good job saving the 4. Here's Cisco with his 3, and as you can tell, Dathan and I still haven't thrown. We've put ours in pretty close. Taps in his 3. And
solid putt from Cisco. So if you two are both inside of that, I mean,
yeah,
it's a close putt, one that you certainly expect to get, but with that elevated basket, nothing's guaranteed.
It is.
Like you both tapped
It is definitely not. It's a fun story. Second round, I left myself the same putt, doinked it, rolled 30 feet away, banged my 3-putt, but it spit out and rolled 40 feet away. Now we're on to hole 14, and this one was a fun hole if they had pulled it back out just a little bit. It's like hiding inside this gap right here. This is day 2 footage you're kind of seeing as well. It was actually inside that little hole back there. It was a tough hole because you could be 10 feet away from the basket and have absolutely 0 putt on this hole.
Yeah, it does look like a pretty tricky green.
Yeah, you can see the hole tucked inside right there. Here's Dathan walking up, throws a pretty good one, catches one of the last trees he could, puts him about 40 feet away or so. And I get my flick a little high. You should see it finish here. Yep, there we go. I'm about 50 feet. Cisco just kind of throwing it out there. Once again, as mentioned, he doesn't have as much distance as some of these others, so he tries to set himself up more to play for long birdie putts and not take as many bad mistakes. And Jake steps up, throwing a rope, starts fading, and really unfortunate, he skipped all the way down the path, OB. Never crossed one way or the other. It just kind of stayed right down the path.
That's unfortunate. You know Jake was trying to park this hole for sure.
So now he's got a long 3-putt from about 45 or so. bank.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a great way to save your car.
For sure. I mean, the kid's capable of doing a lot of crazy things. Both him and Dathan right here. Dathan steps up to a 30-footer or so now. And no problem.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A couple of great putts there.
And here's Cisco, and this is what I was saying. He is about 10 feet away and really just had nothing. He had to, like, force one through there and gets banded. It's just an unfortunate spot.
Frustrating when there's greens like that, where you feel like you placed yourself in a good position and then just can't do a normal stroke.
Yeah.
Any stroke, really, to get the putt you need.
So, a very unfortunate situation for Cisco right there. No drone footage on this hole. The footage got corrupt. Jake at -4, Dathan -7, myself -2, and Cisco at even.
Looks like Dathan's putting himself together a solid round after those couple of early bogeys.
Yeah, I mean, for considering he started at bogey with a short missed putt and just a bad hole too, he is having a good one coming along. It puts a big drive out there. This hole said it was like 300 something. No, it was like 480. It was much further than 360 or whatever it said it was.
Wow, yeah. So Dathan's drive was pretty great there.
Oh yeah, like I didn't throw mine well, but I still took a pretty good pump just to even get it to about 130 out. And here is Jake. Huge flare. Almost, flare. Yeah, almost in the bunker. But instead he's left himself about 20 feet. And here's Cisco. Kind of as...
I imagine Cisco's just playing this one out.
Yeah, he throws it really nice. That's not as close as it looks. He's probably 80 out or so. He's got
just a little approach from you, Cisco. Might be giving this one a run if he's confident. Looks like he is. Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was confident. It was a fantastic little jump putt from him. Jake steps up a little bit further than anticipated. He's actually probably 30 cage. And here's Dathan.
I'll show you the advantage of really honing in your putt.
Oh, yeah.
Cisco can't get the distance that these guys get, but as you see there, he's able to pick up a bird where the other two can't.
Yep. Made good on my par. And Jake and Dathan should do the same. Once again on this course, all golf greens and bunkers are OB/hazard. So no playing from golf greens, but if you're in a bunker, you get to count it as a hazard. And you can see the camera's starting to get a little wet right there too. The first round wasn't nearly as wet as you will see coming up in the second round. But we're still on the first round right here. Jake at -4, Dathan -7, myself 2 under, Cisco at 1 under after hole 15. And here's hole 16, our last par 3 on the course. It's about a 330-footer, tucked in between a little bit of a row of trees right here. You got a bunch of different plays you can do, though. You got outside hyzer, straight at it, flick over the top if you'd like to. Kind of options.
Yeah, those trees are definitely guarding the basket somewhat, but they don't look thick enough to really keep anything coming in from getting to at least to the circle.
Well, that's as long as you can sort of hit the trees. Here is Cisco. Not too bad of a shot. He's left himself about 30 feet. Dathan lining up a big hyzer, which I mentioned the shot, but it's a tough shot. We actually had to yell 4 for the group right here too. It was going to land right close to him, as you can see.
Oh wow, yeah.
I tried going flick over the top, but I threw it really flat and just straight into the tree.
Yeah, that didn't go over too much there.
No. Maybe like an ant's head, but that's about it.
So we can see the rain, and you said the weather conditions continue to worsen. Is there much wind going on here?
There is some wind. The wind wasn't as bad as it could have been, thankfully. Knock on some wood on that one, but it was fairly calm for the first round, at least. And both myself and Dathan laying up, trying to get our threes. Cisco had a little bit of a low overhang, and unfortunate for Jake, he found like the one tree that could potentially be in his way right there. Caused him to putt low. Here's Dathan. He's been putting well, looking to clean up his par right here. Oh, as you mentioned, wind. He caught an air bounce.
Wow. Yeah, that putter did not want to drop at all and left him. Looks like an even longer comebacker than the putt he had to start with.
Yeah.
That's a tough way to finish that hole.
And what is never good is whenever you're having to be told it's your go 3 times in a row. Cleans up the double, though.
Yeah, luckily that was a good putt that he hit there that still didn't look like an easy comeback to
Mm-mm.
make.
It was the same putt as his first one, so good correction. Cisco.
Cisco,
Mm-hmm.
no worries there.
Yep, I'll tap out my par as well, and Jake will too. It's going to bring us on towards hole 17 now. After the double bogey, Dathan drops to 5 under, Jake at 4, myself at 2, and Cisco at 1 under. Par 4, 620-footer right here. Once again, you're kind of seeing day 2 positioning. Apologies, as much as I can say about that. It's actually, day 2 was in between this gap you're seeing a little bit on the right-hand side of your screen, but I'm flying towards day 1 right here. Once we turn a little bit left, it's beside this pond and kind of out beside these breaker boxes. So Cisco steps up, and he's just going to chuck one out there into the field. This was a pretty long par 4. It said 620. It played closer to about 700, probably 750, and I was really happy with this pump. I got a pretty full flight out of this destroyer. Like, I crushed it up there.
Yeah, that was a great looking shot.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you'll leave yourself as little as possible for your upshot, which is really all you want on a long par 4 like this.
Yeah, and what's upsetting is I had a pretty great shot. Jake didn't even throw his well, and he just outdrives him probably about 50.
Wow. Yeah, if he'd have gotten that up in the air, he could have been really close to the basket, yeah. It looked like.
And Dathan, he puts a pretty good pump on his as well and ends up about 20 further than me.
So it looks like everybody's about where they want to be, ideally. Cisco looks like he didn't quite get as close as he wanted on his second shot.
He was about 100 feet out. That one was actually sitting on the pole. Makes for a much easier birdie whenever you don't have to putt.
Yeah, that's within my confidence range for sure.
Mm-hmm. Here is Dathan. He kind of fluffed this one a little bit. Leaves himself... that looks a lot closer than it was. It was about 25 away.
Okay.
And here is Jake. Little putter in hand. And he left himself about 25 short. Cisco's approach. Not bad. 15 out. Here's Jake from 20 to 25. Birdie up. Birdie good.
Really solid stroke from Jake there.
Mm-hmm. Good way to get some confidence. He's missed some short ones here recently. There's another... Oh! There was another short missed putt from Dathan as well. That's
yeah.
2 holes in a row.
Conditions like this, your grip starts changing on all of your shots putting. It's hard to keep that consistent rhythm where he was really banging putts throughout the mid-round.
And you know that's a par he was not looking to get right there. Cisco taps out his, and I will set the Rhino inside the basket as softly as I can.
Yeah, so guys like you, Dathan, Jake, people who could throw longer shots, a par 4 that's less than 800 feet really should be a pretty easy get.
Yes.
So,
however,
wish you had that one back.
This one was a tough hole. 1,020-footer. This path plays OB on the right-hand side if you're on it, you're OB. Bunker on the left is OB in the middle. Pond, OB down by the basket, and you'll see we're still flying up towards the hole. This was everyone practicing on Sunday before our 3rd and final round, and there's the hole tucked in about 20 feet off the pond. This was a tough hole.
Wow, yeah. Distance, OB, tough green, it's got everything.
I had box on the final hole. I stepped up throwing a villain, and it puts a pretty good one out there. I really avoided all the OB. Safe, got decent distance. Here's Jake. This is one. Wow. Yeah, you
could tell he's lining up to uncork something there.
Yeah. And he, I think, wanted a little bit more. He didn't quite get a full flight, and still just crushes it out there, tombstones it.
Yeah, right in the middle, though. He should have even with this Cisco for the green from there.
Yeah. And if you can tell, Cisco throws it really, really well and comes up 100 forward of Jake. And there is Dathan. Never got any flip on that. That was straight hyzer. Ends up well left.
Yeah, throwing with that much height, if you don't get any turn, that's just a recipe for disaster.
There's Cisco. essentially just throwing another layup shot. He's left himself about 300 to 350 in. Dathan throws a big one right here. I think we might be able to see it finish. Yep, there it is. It was a very nice recovery shot from where he was. Leaves himself, leaves himself about 150. Oh, hardly saw me throw. I was a little bit quick on the draw. But it was nice. It was a little bit on the right-hand side. Safe over there. Wanted to make sure,
See if Jake really decides to attack and go for the green, or what he'll do here.
I think his plans kind of were to go for it. You can't really see where it went. Didn't catch it, but he was right a little bit, I believe.
Okay. So sort of maybe a safe go for it.
Yeah.
He's pushing hard, but if he misses right, and that's the safe play.
Cisco threw up to about 80 feet out. I throw in G-Star Rhino to about 15. Dathan approaching. Puts it really near the basket. And here is Jake's little approach shot. Kind of crushes it to about 20 past.
Yeah, you wonder if that was kind of a slight run towards the basket from him.
Cisco, from range, actually slips on his throw as well. It's going to have to settle for a par on this hole. Jake from 20 for the birdie. Lining up the putt. And high. Off the band. I throw my birdie. Have a nice putt on it from about 15 to 20. Good way to end off the round with a birdie.
Yeah, a solid putt there at the end. Jake's got to be frustrated now. About to tap in.
Yeah.
After having such a great drive.
And he was, for sure. I mean, the kid has tremendous, tremendous power. His putting just comes and goes, I swear, like right in the middle of a round, though. There was Dathan tapping out his birdie. Cisco for a par himself. And that brings us to the end of the the back nine of the first round. Scores after 18, Jake -5, Dathan -6, myself -4, Cisco at -1. Here's total scores. Nick Morgan lit it up with a -9. That was like 990 something rated. Dathan sitting in second, Jake third, and Blaine Light coming in fourth. Me and him actually tied, but he had lower PDGA numbers, so you're actually going to catch him next round. And round 2 will be coming up just as soon as we can get something going on that one. Paul, Kevin, thanks so much for joining in on this one, man. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, it was great to commentate. I enjoyed watching it, and I'm looking forward to round 2.
Yes, sir. Catch you then.